Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to give a reaction to this recent Marcellus Wiley video where he talks about professional sports journalists transitioning to social media. Now, obviously, I felt like this was important because I talk about sports and a bunch of, politics and culture and things of that nature. And there's a bunch of YouTubers and content creators in general that we do this. And now it seems like we're going to have to share our space with these, quote unquote professional journalists. So I wanted to hear his take on it and hear his take on this new era of sports journalism where social media is looking like it's more beneficial for the journalists and possibly even the media company that they work for to be on social media rather than television, right? And we already know television has been phased out of most things in life, right? Most of the advertising dollars have left television and are on the internet, right? Most of the advertising dollars have left television and are now on social media. Forget about radio, right? That's been, left in the dust. So most of the advertising dollars have been shifted to social media and, all social media. Most of the advertising dollars have been shifted to social media and away from television. So that's definitely affecting these media conglomerates' bottom line, where they're probably struggling. They don't have the ratings, right? They're losing their ratings to content creators and they're losing the advertising dollars to content creators as a result. So let's see what Marcellus had to say about this. And if you guys don't know, I'll reiterate, Marcellus is a former NFL player. As you guys can see the jerseys in the background. Played for my Dallas Cowboys. And now he's a YouTuber. Used to work for ESPN. He used to work for Fox Sports. Man has been around. The man has knowledge. And I definitely want to hear what he has to say about this.
Let's talk about this transition because there was a day, and I remember it, when ESPN, where I was working at the time, placed a big bet. And I wouldn't say an early bet, but it was a big bet because it was major media saying we have to lean into social media. And at that time, it was Twitter. Like, everyone get on Twitter. And everyone go on Twitter and just try to get you a fan base and get people to watch the show.
And I remember that myself. My friends used to tell me, yo, you got to get on Twitter, bro. If you want to make it on YouTube, you want to make it on any, these streaming platforms or, long form factor platforms. You got to be on Twitter, bro. That's what the action is. And I was always a little hesitant. I do have a Twitter, but I never got comfortable engaging on it.
And, give them little behind the scenes peeks at your life and content. And obviously Skip Bayless ran with that. Like, Skip Bayless literally would tweet out his show and then go on air and do the show.
Still
and people
does.
were watching it, right? So it worked. But they didn't bet on the independent space in terms of content creation at that time. I think that caught them by surprise. I think major media was caught by surprise how many people would just be at home, like me, now. But then, like 2013, those early adopters, or whatever, it's a Joe Rogan, 2017, a Pat McAfee, whatever it may be, those guys, they didn't think that they would go home and actually not only create content, but gain such massive audiences.
And I'm going to say create better content. That's the key, right? People don't watch Joe Rogan just because he's Joe Rogan. They watch it because they know they're going to get a certain level of content, right? A certain level of quality. It's like right to the point. It's in your face. It's like-minded individuals, right? That's what Joe Rogan delivers. Whereas, major media companies, it's talking points that are dictated to them, right? They can't say this and they can't say that and they can't reveal this and they can't reveal that. And people are just tired of that, right? It's been our political system for years. It's been everything, right? So that's what content creation gives you. It gives you that down to earth, nitty gritty. This is what it is, and let's talk about it. And television, these major media companies just can't do that.
Greater than the ratings suggest. Let's be real. The ratings is tough. Nielsen is still dragging their feet, and I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but it's kind of hard to curate all this. You got to imagine there's a linear cable stream, right? There's a linear cable watcher, and that.
And Nielsen, for those of you that don't know, they are the ones that track streaming content, and they track the numbers and they track the ratings, and they put out these reports, periodically showing, what's the most watched, what's trending, what's on a downward trend, and all of that. So Nielsen is responsible for that. But yes, they're always behind. They're behind when it comes down to the Netflix and the Disney Plus and all of those platforms as well. So they're just always behind. And like you said, it is hard to compile all that data, right? There's a lot of views, there's a lot of bots, there's a lot of this, there's a lot of that, and they got to sift through all of that to get the accurate as possible numbers.
Person sitting at home like, oh man, I'm watching ESPN, cool, and they're getting that typical rate. And do you know, for like per hour, the most that people watch is 15 minutes, like per hour, the most, and that's like an extreme. Ratings obviously all across the board are suppressed and down because we just got more options, right? And it's probably less interesting to watch somebody up there who has a corporate brand behind them saying something that you're like,
Exactly.
if you were with your boys, you said it a little different, right? And on the internet, you will find that person. He's gonna say exactly how you're thinking it. So all across the board, ratings are down. And so then the bet was on
keep it
Twitter,
real. It's no
and the
cap.
bet was like on Instagram.
There's a lot of cap
and like
on
make
YouTube.
yourself more glam and make yourself more popular, right? But the bet wasn't on YouTube. And did y'all notice all of a sudden the same show and shows and personalities that were on their show, let's say First Take, all of a sudden, all the clips are on YouTube. And then all of a sudden, the actual hosts, the co-hosts, were also on YouTube.
But what's funny about that is, so you know how we do React content, a lot of content creators do React content. I'm starting to do more and more React content. It's hard to do React content on those from using clips from like, ESPN and Fox Sports. Man, they will copyright claim you in a second. Like, they do not play that. And it's like that, they still have that greed in mind, right? They don't want to let nobody eat and give a different perspective and whatever. It's like, this is ours. Don't touch it. Don't use it. Don't just look at it, right? I'm about to say don't look at it, but that's what they want you to do. Look at it, comment below, but don't touch it. You can't reuse it. I don't want to hear your reaction to it. I don't want to hear your opinions unless it's on our channel's comment section.
Now you need a podcast to go with your show. Look at FS1. What's right with Nick Wright, or what's wrong with Nick Wright, excuse me. And I love Nick Wright. That dude's a beast. What's wrong with Nick Wright, right? Skip Bayless Show, Club Shay Shay, right? And that's the bet now. And they're hedging their bet because they are realizing, hey, everybody's not tuning in to these shows.
And the crazy part about this, guys, is like those guys have their podcasts, but they don't own those podcasts, right? Those podcasts, those YouTube shows are considered property of Fox Sports, right? So they get a percentage, right? They get a cut, but it's not like most YouTubers, most content creators, how whatever you earn after you pay the tax man is yours. Nah, it don't work like that for them. They're doing that in conjunction with the show. That's part of their contract to work for those stations, those media companies. So it's a little different, right? Because you're doing it in good faith, but at the same time, you get fired. Guess what happens? That content doesn't go with you. That content stays home. Now you have to go out and rebrand and build another channel. So when you got a show with your name, but you don't own it, we know where this is going, right? Like it's like someone else owning your likeness and owning your name, and those are the only people that can profit off of it. So that's the catch-22.
The ratings at FS1, let's use those because I know those because I was there last. Average viewership for Undisputed, the biggest show, 150, 200,000 max. Woo! Club Shay Shay got 1 million plus subscribers himself. And those views, every time I look, is millions. Then you can't make the apples to apples comparison because you would really have to say what would happen if they put Undisputed exclusively on the internet versus Club Shay Shay, which is exclusively on the internet. But
see, I don't think people would watch it as much if it was on YouTube, which is weird, but they would have to change the format, right? Because it's too much of the typical debate show formula, and they would have to just get loose and make it more barbershop. It has to be more organic, which is what most YouTubers do. What we try to do is give you us, right? They don't do that on their show, right? They got to suppress themselves and suppress their opinions because the corporate battery is in their back, right? And corporate daddy is like, you do that and you in trouble, right? So it's different.
You get the point. Like, they're like, dog, people are tuning in to Club Shay Shay more than they tune in to Undisputed. And remember, that's only for 15 minutes max. Guess who knows this? Advertisers, sponsors. And they're like, we used to bet on social media and the social media influencers. We want to move our product not only on commercials, but y'all fast forward through commercials through DVR and TiVo. And then that changed until let's just put bets on like these guys endorsing our product. To now they're like, no, let them have a podcast. Meet them where the people are, direct to consumer, and then we'll place ads in there, or we'll just sponsor the entire podcast. Y'all catching all this? It happens fast. Now, when it happens fast to you, you're like, what do I do? Where's my next step? Where's solid footing? For Stephen A to take these shots, you can see not only is he like, yo, I'm the biggest, baddest, I can take these shots, but also I got to plan my next move. And I think his next move is what he's doing.
Right. And if y'all know Stephen A's show, Stephen A is smart. His show isn't just sports, right? It's politics. So Stephen A might be a little different from these other guys. I don't know. Fox Sports, as from what I read, they own like the Club Shay Shays and, the Nick Wright's podcast and Skip Bayless's podcast. They own that. I don't know if ESPN owns Stephen A's because he talks politics, and that's like the big no-no at ESPN. Now, maybe that's their little side gig, right? Let's get our footing in the door with the politics. But I don't know. Stephen A is the big dog over there, and he might have had enough pull and power and say to be like, this is mine, and y'all not getting a cut of it. This is what I'm doing.
He's doing the podcast, and you're going to see more and more effort, more and more support, more and more lean into that podcast, because that's where the people are. Let me take you through it all. The fears, the anxieties, not only from these, I guess you can call them the networks, but also from the actual talent. The networks are sitting there like, yo, we own these socials. And this is one thing I didn't like. This is one thing in my last deal that made me say, I have to move on. I knew that everything and everyone was going to digital, going to streaming, online, internet, etc. You could tell, because why you offering me to do a podcast when you offered me to just do a show 4 years ago? So 4 years ago, my contract was just do Speak for Yourself. And then I was like, I want to do radio because I love doing radio. I knew Max went to First Take, duh. But I was like, I could do my own radio or I could do it with somebody else. We want you just to be fresh for Speak for Yourself. So we're going to pay you handsomely just to do one show. All right. In those 4 years, that conversation switched because Club Shay Shay came out in 2020, I think. Skip just came out last year. Nick Wright came out last year. Tons of others. And then the next contract, it was like, Marcellus, you gonna do a podcast? What? You just told me I couldn't do radio and you never.
Oh, see, so, again, that corporate money was talking. They're like, look, dude, for what we said before, forget all that. We need them ratings. So you're a popular guy. Start a YouTube channel so we can eat off that.
I mentioned the podcast just 4 years ago. Are you really looking out for me, or are you like, yo, this bottom line is shifting?
It's always about the bottom line.
Spaces, right? So I caught that, and I wasn't going to be played in that moment, and I don't think they were trying to play me, but
remember, Marcel, look at that Columbia education. Like, he's not stupid, guys. And I'm not saying like, oh, everybody went to Columbia, like, and everybody went to college, and everybody went to. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying Marcellus has always represented himself to a higher standard than most people, and he's always pretty much tried to get what he was worth. He got that from Jerry Jones when he was kind of a washed up football player at that time. He still got top dollar to play for the Cowboys. So there's that.
They also weren't being explicit because they own those socials, right? You can get into a rev share deal and they offered that, but they own the socials. And to the tune of all these guys that you're talking about, there's one that finally went back, and I can't say his name because I protect the guilty, but there was one who went back and fought for a percentage of the social media accounts, and he got a percentage. But they're sitting there like, yo, y'all ain't even catching this. All those clips, money to the network. Now, they pay you a big, handsome check
contract,
so that
right?
you don't even think about those things, but you should think
but
about
still,
those things,
right? Because this is your name and your likeness, people. Like, I always say, social media and particularly YouTube is a time capsule, right? This stuff is timeless. People will discover your videos years from now, months from now, weeks from now, whatever, right? It doesn't have to be instantaneous success or viewership. So if someone else owns your likeness and owns your video, you might have a video that blows up a year from now, but imagine you can't reap the benefits of it because it belongs to someone else. It's crazy to think that, right? It's almost like college sports, right? Before the athletes were able to get paid, right? And the colleges made money off the athletes, right? Off their likeness, off everything, right? And the players got nothing. They were student athletes, so they don't get nothing. Well, that's like these guys, right? You're an employee of Fox or you're an employee of ESPN. We give you a handsome contract, or a hefty contract, I should say. You don't need nothing else to them. But to own your name, to own your own words, to own your own opinions matters, because you can take that with you everywhere. You can market it and you can distribute it to anybody who's willing to listen and wants to listen and wants to hear you. So that's important.
Why? That's your independence. That is your money. That is something that you own.
And I didn't even say that. Independence. Good. That's a good word right there, Marcel. Is your independence, man. To be independent is huge, where you don't need no one else to pay you. You pay yourself. Independence, financial freedom, professional freedom. Yo, that's the life when you have those things.
That's your IP. Like, you're doing the show and you're putting out all the content, and then they have all the ownership.
Ownership, right.
And that's where the rub is.
It's like, it's music artists, right? Always saying, I don't own my masters. I don't own my intellectual property, right? I don't own the rights to my albums, right? Like that's what they've been arguing for and complaining about for years. That's what these media companies are doing to their talent, right? Like, oh yeah, go do that podcast. We're going to get paid off of it. We're going to get the ratings from it. And you get this nice contract. But when we decide to downsize and fire everyone, or not everyone, but fire people, you might be a casualty of that, and you get nothing. And you can't get access to that content. That's theirs.
Talk about the security that comes from that big fat paycheck to just go up there, talk for a couple hours, and then go home and do it again tomorrow, rinse and repeat. That's what that gives you. Security, but you're an employee to the fullest. You don't own the socials. You don't own the show. If they want to wake up tomorrow like they are, NFL Network or ESPN Disney, and say, hey, we got layoffs, bye-bye. Peace. There's no layoffs for the YouTuber, right? There's no layoffs for the independent creator.
You get copyright strike or demonetized, that's about it, right? That's being laid off. And you can appeal that and create a new channel, whatever, and redirect your audience. But, yeah, it's definitely better than actually being laid off and not having access to any of your content.
He don't want to work tomorrow, he doesn't work tomorrow. If he does, right? And that's a big difference. So you got the security of the network job, and you have also the big check that comes with that security. Oh, just comfortable. I ain't got to worry about jack ratings, whatever. Y'all figure that out. I'm trying my damnness, and that's all I could do. But you don't have any, and I mean any, ownership. Not a single soul has a percentage in ESPN. Not a single soul owns a percentage of FS1.
Oh, so he just confirmed it. So none of them own it. That is crazy. Right? I thought at least Stephen A. Smith would, but I guess even the man, the myth, the legend himself doesn't have the pull, right? But he loves to say, "This is my show," right? He doesn't. This is my show. All right. Well, let it keep your show. This is my show. This is my channel, and I'm happy with it. It might not be the same size, and I'm not getting paid as much as you, but you know, I get to speak my own thoughts, communicate with people on a different level, on a one-to-one level, on a group level, and meaningful conversation. You know, getting people to think for themselves.
Fox, stop playing. Over here, you can own it all. Well, what's 100% of nothing, right? And that's the risk of independence. If you don't pop, it doesn't work, right? You can have all the freedom in the world, all the independence in the world, but where's the revenue? Where's the security? And that's the rub. And that's why you're seeing all of this new media versus old media. You're seeing major mass media and networks versus independent creators. That's why you're seeing this Crip and Blood kind of like gang fight right now. And everybody trying to really stake their territory. They're trying to do it because things are changing. There's an evolution going on right now. Let me walk you through how this all started in my eyes. Stephen A is taking these hits unnecessarily because Stephen A just climbed to the top of the mountain. But how did that mountain get created? I was there.
It's lonely at the top, y'all. It's lonely at the top. Always remember that. When you're the top guy, you get the most hate, you get the most love, but it's very lonely at the top. You can't really share the top. Top spot always belongs to one person and can't share it. It's lonely.
There, like day one. Jamie Horowitz, look him up if you don't know who he is. Former ESPN executive and Fox. I think he was the president of Fox, FS1 for a minute there. And Jamie Horowitz, good friend. I really respected his work, especially day one, because he took me under his wing and creating shows like First Take, Sports Nation, etc. I think he created Undisputed too. I want to say yes.
He did.
Point being, he was like the face of him.
That's the guy that brought over Skip Bayless from ESPN to do Undisputed. Was that guy? Obviously, the money brought Skip Bayless also because he got paid a lot. But yeah, that was the gentleman that brought over Skip Bayless.
Race debate. Basically, you guys need to get up there, and we need to have some contrast. Y'all need to go at it. Let's bring the barbershop to life, whatever you want to call it. Embrace debate. And that took the industry and that took individuals on different roads because it popped. So in the industry, all of a sudden you got all these gremlins, right? Yo, they popping over there. How are they popping? Well, they're arguing. Oh, well, let's argue over here. But if it's not authentic or you don't have the proper personalities or the right chemistry, it's not going to pop. Two people arguing, what y'all arguing over after a certain point? You're
right.
like, and who is arguing? And then you just start to tune out. But it popped. I mean, it popped. And I wasn't a part of those shows. I would go on First Take. I would go on, but that wasn't my spirit. I'm not a debater. I'm a discusser. That's why y'all say, damn, this dude talks so much. Yeah, because I like to discuss stuff. I like to talk. I like to make you think, and then you chime in. And
he's steering my lines, right? He's stealing my line, right? That's what I say. I want to get people to think. That's what it's all about. But I appreciate it. And this is why I'm going to say wavelength, and this is why I love Marcellus' content, because it's all about making you think. He doesn't just give you the same content that everyone else is on the same topics. He gives you something a little different, like, wait a second, take a step back. Let's think about this. Is it this? Or maybe it's that. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's in between, right? That's what his content gives you. And a lot of people don't do that. And that's where I'm trying to get my content to. I just want you guys to think, right? I want you guys to sit back and say, yo, he's just doing React content. Everybody does React content. But what he's trying to also tell you is he's giving you React content for things that matter, right? So I want the up and coming YouTuber to see that you're competing now with professional journalists because their space is closing, right? And they're coming over to our space. And they have the names and they have the cash and they have the numbers already, right? And that's what we got to compete with. So we got to outthink them. We got to outsmart them. We got to outperform them to beat them or to at least stay afloat.
Then we all get smarter, right? I'm not sitting here talking at you, talking to you. I ain't got all the answers. even though I act like it sometimes. But the industry went on that road. Let's embrace debate, not only with the show, but just industry-wide, right? And individuals started to figure out, like, yo, I got to really pop. Instead of saying, oh, he's a good player, I got to say, damn it, ain't nobody better. See the difference? He's a good player. No, he's a great player. Damn it, ain't nobody better. And that's where it all went. Hot sauce on everybody's burrito. So then they went those ways and they placed those bets and they realized that, okay, it's time to place different bets. The individuals and the entities. The entities right now are looking at everything and saying, we got to get to the people, direct to consumer. It's just as simple as that, y'all. I hate to say it. There's no other way to look at it. And the individuals are starting to come, myself included. I just frankly said, and I bring it to y'all raw, I bring it to y'all real. I was making $1.9 million at FS1. And my next deal, they were offering me like 1.1. It was probably going to be a little less haircut. Yeah. Because I was not going to do the same show. I couldn't do Speak anymore. Y'all know what Speak is now. It's a little ice skating, right? It's a little fluffier. They bet on Acho as they should. Acho is half my age. Looks half as good as me. Now, stop. Oh, that's my dog. He's half my age. I mean, he wants to do that, and he wants to do those type of shows.
Acho got that energy. Even though I do miss Marcellus on the show, I felt like the discussions between the two of them was perfect. So it is unfortunate, but I'm happy that Marcellus is independent and doing his thing.
To do this, and I told him that from hello, and that's why we had to say goodbye. But also, the 1-1 was going to be like to join First Things First, so I had to, take some money away, whatever. But the bet was that show has 3 other people, so they were like, "Yeah, we can't pay you the same." I didn't go all the way through in negotiations. I probably could have got that up a little more, but that was their initial offer, like 1-1. I was like, and I was like, yeah. And then I realized through just looking in my neighborhood, my conversations with people I know, independent creators I know, independent creative agencies, and I know people that represent people on the internet, and them people that represent them are rich. The people on the internet are wealthy. I'm like, dog, I got neighbors, dog. I played a lot of football and been in the media for a long time. And there's YouTubers in my neighborhood. Like, dog. I'm like, dude, you go by their house like at midnight and they live in these little content houses and stuff, and they're just lights on. And they just in there just plowing through stuff. I'm like, dog, these little kids out here eating. But I'm not scared of them. You can't beat them, join them. In that kind of respect. But long story short, I saw 1.1 to whatever I was going to get them up to.
And everybody has their own lane on these platforms.
And even 1.9, I was like, dog, the money, not worth staying here if that's the money. Because I had felt that no matter how much I was going to make, I could make more here. That was the money conversation. Stephen A makes $12 million. Woo! Like, first of all, I ain't going to get to Stephen A level. Just be real. I'm not going to go there. Like, whatever it takes to go there. And there is a certain formula for that. You notice that the top 3 dogs, Skip, Stephen A, Colin, never played ball. So that means they have a different investment. They're invested into journalism. I'm invested into the athlete experience.
Right.
Athletics, professional athletics.
And you don't want to, as a former athlete, it's kind of looked down upon it to hate on your fellow athletes, right? Like you know what the grind is. You've been in the locker rooms. You know what the vibes are. You know how hard it is to live your life and compete professionally. So it's different. These guys are competing to be the voice of sports. Marcellus that's kind of beneath him, right? Because he played the sport. So he doesn't want to be the voice of the sport because he already played it. He played it at the highest of levels. So it's different, right? It's a different hustle. This is more, look, I already did my grind. Now I want to lay back and just talk to people. And like he said, get people to think and have a discussion, which he enjoys more.
I just don't do. Some stuff I won't say. Some stuff I won't go there. And they do. I mean, they go all the way there because they're not invested in it the same. Let's just be real. And that's, the industry rewards that. That's what culture is. This culture of sports media rewards that. and that I couldn't do. So I was like, I ain't gonna make Stephen A money. And even if I do, you know how much McAfee making? Good Lord. So I take top dog to top dog. That's how I do it. Like apples to apples. Who's the top dog on this independent track? And who's the top dog on the major mass media track? Y'all know what it is. McAfee making 3-4 times as much as Stephen A. That's why the industry is going where McAfee is. That's why Stephen A.
And he has independence.
McAfee is at least one foot there, and then the other foot in First Take. Damn, that's good. That's a balancing act. Now I should have balanced it out like that, but I went all in on this. So I just wanted to hip y'all to that. I wanted to hip y'all. Oh, you hear that, frog? I wanted to hip y'all to that because I think a lot of stuff right now is up in the air in terms of the blame, the labels, and who is in charge. And I think right now people are making money and they're realizing, why not have ownership with it as well, right? Money and power. Not just money. And even Stephen A is coming to that realization, it seems like. But taking shots at the independent creators, Stephen A is above that, and he should stay above that. I hope he does, because you're just gonna look weak. Like, that's like saying, oh man, our music was better than y'all music. Like, dog, whatever you saying, old man. No.
But he has to do that because he got to keep ESPN happy, right? Because he's still a company man. So I'm not defending it. He's wrong. Like, it's that fine line, right? He's wrong. You don't want to do that. It's wrong to do that. But he's doing it in the name of ESPN, right? He's doing it to say, I'm a company guy. That's not real journalism. This is real journalism. You want to work here. You want to support this, right? He's trying to also influence viewers to not watch the YouTube channels. Watch First Take, right? That's what he's doing. It's wrong, but for him, career-wise, it's right. So, but morally, it's wrong, right? And it just makes you a hater. But he's doing that for his career integrity, because he knows he could be gone tomorrow too. No matter what, no matter how high you are, you ain't got as much money as Disney, right? You don't got as much money as ESPN, and they could get rid of you like that.
Nobody give a damn. Like, is it selling? Do people like it? You got to get with the times. And you can see by all these moves that others are getting with the time.
So that's the end of the video right there, guys. That's Marcellus Wiley. Never shut up. Former NFL player, former host on Fox Sports, and one of my favorite YouTubers right now, right? He, again, like he said, he's new to this space, but he's killing it. He did radio. So his radio is kind of similar to the podcast / YouTube bit, right? Because it just feels like it's a one-on-one real conversation that you're having, and you're not trying to push a perspective. You're trying to just open up people's minds and let them see that, hey, maybe there's another side to this, right? And at least that's, to me, that's what real content creation is. I don't think I should shove anything down your throat. I think I should be trying to give you as much information that I have or that I could get as possible, just to allow you to form your own opinions and think your own thoughts. So the link to his video is going to be in the description. I advise you guys to go to his channel, subscribe to his channel, watch this man, because he has some real good information for you guys. And if you like this video, hit the like button. You want to hear more React content and just more content in general from me, subscribe today. And as always, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of each other. That's all we got. Peace.